Hello! Welcome to The Healing Artist. I'm your host, Freda, and friends, today let's talk about putting all of these spiritual practices that we have learned, all of the tools, putting them to use in real world situations. So, friends, I have been in the process of working on having a podcast studio, loft bed, and some storage put into our house. I'm so excited about it. We are in the days of the later 50s in terms of days that I've been out of my office and teaching from either the living room or our bedroom. And working on this podcast studio loft area, taking it across the finish line myself. So originally we had hired the team that built it, got us so far with the money that we had. And then there were a little bit of like, oh, this is a lot more work than we had anticipated. And the funds weren't exactly there for it. There was a reassessment, and it was like, okay, if you get the build in so that it is structurally sound, if you put the basics in, then I'll take it across the finish line with all of the trim and sanding and painting and the drywall application, the mudding, the joint compound, like taking it across the finish line in that way. These are not skills that I know how to paint and do the finishing touches, but like drywall I had never done before, and it has been an adventure, let me tell you. However, I have this like real knowing and understanding that the project is sort of like, this is the spiritual practice. The spiritual practice is life. It is just doing the work. It is showing up and doing the work, whatever the work is at the time. And right now, the practice that is in front of my face is doing this construction, doing this build, learning how to do it. The frustration, the journey, the whole thing, it is the practice. It is the work. This is life. And while it is not easy, and quite frankly, I am tired, it is the point. Because I can see the finished product in my mind. I know it's going to be beautiful. I know it's going to be fantastic. But this moment, this current moment right now, the points where I'm laying and learning how to lay the drywall and putting the spackle, mixing the compounds, doing the things, putting the things on the wall, sanding, the doing of the acts, that is the journey. That is the moment. It isn't the glamorous moment that I show you the podcast studio at the end and it's all finished and everything is there. It is the screwing. It is the painting. It is the sanding. It is the spray painting. It is the everything. The cleaning up every day with the vacuum. When we read the guru's book, when we read the teachers, the wisdom teachings, they're often from that many years later pulled back perspective of, here's the teaching, and it's brought forward in this way that's really like easily digestible and almost bite-sized, as if it just almost like aha and then happens. But what we don't see in those teachings is the grind to get to the point where you learn the thing, to be able to be the teacher where the thing is just aha and there. You know, there are times in life when life feels like a grind. And it's still fun, it's still pleasurable, but it's simultaneously hard work. So, yesterday was sanding day. And prior to that, I had slopped a whole bunch of joint compound all over the podcast studio. I had watched videos on how to do it. I had screwed in my own drywall. I didn't have straight corners. I there were just aspects of it that needed a fair amount of fixing, and I was going to just fix them with the joint compound, slapping it all on there. But what it did do was make it really thick. So I gave it 60 hours to dry. After 60 hours of drying, it was ready for sanding, and my God, was I dreading this. Because everything I've seen on the internet, they're like, it makes your whole home a mess. Like, cover your HVAC, turn it off, make sure that nothing is, put a towel under the door. And a lot of the places online recommend using this special tool that is a sander that attaches to a shop vac. Well, I actually don't own a shop vac, and I don't really want to store a shop vac, so we don't have one, because it's quite a large item. And the sanding tool is like $600. But everybody online is like, it's worth the $600 because it helps to prevent the cleanup afterwards. But this is like a podcast studio, for heaven's sakes. It isn't a 2,000 square foot house or basement, or like big massive project. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna get that. So I didn't heed the advice of using a tool that had some sort of a shop vac attached to it, and I just went in and sanded, and I just went ahead and went full forward with the project. I was very careful with a N95 mask, followed by a pretty significant respirator with specific dust mask filters. I had goggles, I wore a hat to cover my ears, and then I wanted one of those like Tyvek suits, but I don't have one, but I did have a onesie. So I put on my No Drama Llama onesie. I picked up this No Drama Llama onesie at a Walmart. No, I don't shop at Walmart, but you do when you're going to Burning Man. And there was one Burning Man where we were, at the Walmart right before going into Burning Man, and my friend Spilsy and I were picking up water for camp. And when we went in there, they had a big rack of onesies, and there was this llama onesie, and it really had the look of like a Tibetan llama. And it said No Drama Llama, and I renamed it the Low Drama Llama because I do like a little bit of drama. Of course I do. But I took the onesie and put it on because I'm trying to like not have this dust stuff go down my neck and all of that. So I'm trying to protect myself because it is nasty business. This is not nice stuff. Put a towel under the door, sanded completely, and I did it. I did it. It was, honestly, speaking of Burning Man, it was like the playa was unleashed within the room. It was really intense. It was just a cloud of white, and it took a long time for the dust to settle, and then I started cleaning it up. And it's interesting because I had this moment where I was just like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't know how to clean this up. I had flashes from one of my favorite films, Mommy Dearest, shortly after the wire hangers scene. It's like part of it, no wire hangers. First of all, do you know Mommy Dearest, the Joan Crawford story? Because it's the best. It's such a good movie. Oh my God, it's so good. Anyway, Christina, no wire hangers. How could you put wire hangers in my closet? Blah, blah, blah. Shortly after that, she beats Christina. Joan Crawford beats her daughter with a thing of Ajax in the bathroom, telling her that the bathroom is dirty and she needs to clean it up. And she just beats her with multiple cans of like the Dutch oven cleaner. And the entire bathroom is just inches of cleaning product. Inches. Just so much of it. And the mother is like, Joan Crawford is like putting water on the floor, and she's like, scrub it, Christina. And she's helping her scrub it. And then she is just like beating her with these cans. And anyway, then she's just like pieces out. Mom pieces out. And Joan says to her daughter, she's just like, clean up this mess. And Christina's like, how? And Joan says, you figure it out. Anyway, I felt like Christina. I did this sanding project, and I was looking around the room and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to clean this up. I don't have a clue. And I had a moment of absolute abject fear and terror. And I thought, what have I done? I mean, we're talking about it's on everything. It's everything. Every surface in that room is going to need to be wiped. Like vacuumed, wiped with vinegar, wiped with TPS powder, wiped again. It's on everything. It's everything. And it's nasty stuff. So I went out and talked to my husband, and I was like, I'm scared. And he was just like, pretend that you've gone to Burning Man, you've come home, and all of your stuff has playa dust all over it. I know you don't want to do it, but you're just going to sit down with your bucket of vinegar and your towel, and you're going to wipe everything down in that room. And bit by bit, it'll get done. And that reframe that he gave me was massively helpful, because it was like, you know what? You're right. You go to Burning Man, you come back, all your stuff, all your wonderful equipment, all of your tent, your clothing, everything is just caked with nasty, nasty playa dust. And if you've never encountered playa dust before, it's brutal. It doesn't want to come off of anything. And you know, once something has gone to playa, like you will always know that it goes to playa. Like if you have a car, even 10 years later, there will be some form of remnant if you ever took that out to the playa and went to Burning Man. Like it just is. Because playa dust gets into everything, and it is stubborn and difficult. So his reframe was helpful. And then I brought my meditation practice in. I brought one of the tools from my toolbox, which is, what can I see? What can I see directly in front of my face? And I went in there and proceeded to just do exactly what was in front of me, because it was so overwhelming that is all I could do, which was literally exactly what was in front of me. So I filled a bucket with water, I poured vinegar in it, and I went in and I started to wipe. First, I did a little vacuuming. I did some vacuuming, and then I started to wipe. So eventually, I was able to clean the room. It wasn't fun. It wasn't easy. I did it in silence so that I did it as a meditative practice. And I just did exactly what was in front of my face, bit after bit after bit. And we're talking getting a, tool out that had a 14-foot pole on it so that I could do the ceilings. I had the extended ladder up. I had to wipe the entire surfaces of the wall with the TPS powder. My former podcasting corner, I have soundproofing that's screwed into the walls. It is like a black felt and wooden panels, like fake wooden panels, that is like soundproofing material. Every single slat of that had to be wiped on 3 sides. It was brutal. And I did it. And I'm proud of myself. My goodness, I did that. While I do activities like this, I enjoy just throwing on my camera and I film, sections of me doing the different parts. And then I like to make little music videos with this so that I can look back at it and remember how much work I did. I can remember what I have accomplished and what I did. And that makes me feel good. Because again, when you're in the moment, when you're only with that thing in front of your face, when you're not future tripping or past tripping, you're not creating memories the same way. And so when I do that, it is like a diary. It's a recall for me. So I make these little videos, and then also I can share them with my friends and be like, look what I did. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. I am nearly complete with the sanding aspect Today I have to fix a couple. There were some spots there were some bubbling with the joint compound work, so I have to go back and fill those. And there's a corner that isn't quite correct, that I need to build a little corner on one of the corners of the booth. And I need to do a little bit of straight line work in a couple of places. So it's close, but not completely there. So I'll have one more day of sanding after this, but hopefully it won't be too crazy. I'll see if I can put this joint compound on really cleanly this time. I mean, each time I work with it, I get better at it, but there's such a learning curve. Like when I'm watching the experts teach me how to do it online, they're so clean with the tools. And like the guy that I'm watching, he just whips his hawk around. The hawk is the metal board that has a handle underneath it, and that's where you put your joint compound mix, and then you're using either your 4-inch blade tool or you're using this other thing that's like it's like 12 inches, and it's like has a scooping mechanism, and you're able to like use it on the walls. So he just like uses these things as like a third hand, and like uses them and whipping them around and using them to rip tape and all sorts of stuff. And I actually find that the tools for my arms and stuff are honestly like too heavy to use the way that he's using them. So I often have to sit the tool down, and like I just, it would take practice and muscular strength to build up to the abilities that I'm watching the people on YouTube display on like how they're doing it. So there's just like this learning curve of, and like they're originally, what they're starting with is just like in a better place than the original sheetrock that I had attached to the wall. Like it wasn't quite correct from the beginning. So I had some fudging of mistakes to fill and do. And like it's gonna be perfect for me, and no one's gonna ever know, and it's totally fine. But also, there's just, the way I would put it is a massive learning curve. The first time you do anything. And again, this is life. There's a way in which I look at this stuff and I'm like, if I can do this, then anybody can do it. Because like there's a level of just chutzpah and bravery attached to just like, well, I'll try. I'll try it. If it doesn't work, I'll sand it off and try it again. Anyway, so that's what's going on in my world. And yep, that's it. We're going to keep it on the shorter side. I actually I've been really, what's happening in my world in terms of like my business and things like that, is I'm actually looking for a part-time job. So today I have a little lipstick and mascara on because I actually have a job interview here shortly. So I'm going to get myself ready for that, which is exciting. I am starting to sink into and understand. I had a teacher who really was pushing the idea of spiritual entrepreneurship as the thing. And like, as a light worker, we're supposed to be able to make money in the spiritual world as a spiritual entrepreneur. And like, there's aspects of me that I'm like, yeah, okay. I absolutely believe that. And simultaneously, I need to contribute. There's a necessity. It has become a necessity that I contribute to the home, and sometimes the spiritual thing is that you go get a job. And like something that is so deeply, profoundly filled with trust for me is that I am a light worker regardless of what I do. It doesn't mean I'm not a spiritual entrepreneur or a spiritual human if I'm not just like, I can be that anywhere. I can commute into San Francisco, and when I'm riding on the BART, I can anchor light. I can set my intention to radiate whatever I'm being asked of to radiate on the BART, go to the BART, ride the BART to work, go do a job, be a shining beacon of light at that job, from walking down the street to being in the office. I can't see what's coming for me. But none of any of that, and also regardless of what I'm doing, like if I'm sweeping up floors, I can sweep up floors and radiate light. I can work in any industry, like whatever, and I'm radiating light. Like it doesn't matter. Like something I thought might be kind of fun is looking into dog walking. I can be a light worker walking dogs. Like all of that is completely and totally fine. I'm not like losing if I don't give 100% of my attention to Freda Miletsky Healing Arts LLC, at least for a period of time. You know, part of life is like we go with the flow, and it's like, oh, I need to help this river flow smoother by bringing some revenue into the house. So, friends, I would like to invite you to my morning meditation program, Return to Self-Love. We meet on Tuesday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m. It is $111 a month, and it's a great container if you want to learn to have a spiritual practice on your own. I also offer 30-minute, 1 hour, and 90-minute healing sessions. You can find all of that on my website, fredahealing.com. You can also look at my illustration work and my pet portraiture. Did you know that I paint pets for people? Yes, I do. And you too can have your pet painted by me if you visit fredahealing.com. Under the art section, there is a tab for illustration and also pet portraiture. I especially love memorializing passed on loved ones' pets. That is a true gift that I truly enjoy giving to the person who orders the painting. And it makes wonderful holiday gifts and also presents for yourself any time of year. So friends, definitely reach out. Let's connect. If you want to join my mailing list and know what's going on at Freda Miletsky Healing Arts, you can also do that at fredahealing.com. All right, friends, don't be a stranger. Leave a comment. Let me know you're listening. Fridays, we do Frequency Friday, where Elizabeth answers questions for the collective. And if you have a question for Elizabeth, write it in the comments below, or I'll see it. Or you can email me at fredamiletskyhealingarts@gmail.com. And that info will be in the show notes. All right, friends. I love you. God, universe, source loves you. And I hope that you have a wonderful day.